So I think next thing we're going to talk about is about the candidates, like the people who are applying for the MSBA program.
Sure.
So there are people coming from the tech background, and there are some people also from non-tech backgrounds. As I had my cohort. So what do you think about those people applying for this MSBA, and how can they make the best use of this MSBA degree?
Yeah, I think, the course is designed so that depending on the pathway that you take, right? So for predictive analytics, for example, right? There are sections of that, all of the learning objectives are the same. The concepts that you learn, the core fundamentals and foundations are the same. The hands-on may be different. So like there is a low or no code version of that course, right? Where you don't have to, where we're working with enterprise tools like SAS Enterprise Miner and things like that. For those who want to get more deep into the code, we have an R-focused section and a Python-focused section. And so, we do provide these sort of built-in pathways for folks who maybe are a little bit less technical, a little bit less on the program side, and people who want to get more into the data science programming side. And so everybody graduates with the same core foundations, but the hands-on, you can kind of take your pick. But for other courses, we and particularly, I can speak directly from like data warehousing. I don't presuppose any existing knowledge in the topic. Now, does that mean that if you have existing knowledge that you're disadvantaged by joining the course? No, because we'll be going and exploring case studies that you may not have engaged with. We'll be exploring methodologies that you may not have engaged with and tools that you may not have engaged with. And I really try to, and a lot of us, what we do is we try to understand what the background of our students is before they get there. So that we can modify the course content to be something that is new and exciting, even if they had that.
Yes. So right on that, like we talked about predictive analytics and then predictive analytics with no code. So can you talk about the curriculum at the MSBA, like all the subjects that we have, where we go through, and a student that is coming in the next summer? Yeah. So he's expected to go through, he or she.
Yeah. So all right. Let's see if I know this. It's my program, so I should know, right? So we've got our fall, our first semester now. For you guys in the summer session, it's going to be a little bit different. You'll be taking database management systems and spreadsheet in the summer, right? So database management systems is a core foundation. When we do our job market analysis, we find that pretty much, I want to say somewhere between 80 and 90% of the job roles directly call out SQL as a core skill, right? And so that's designed to give you kind of a leg up on the SQL skills, database architecture and design and things like that. So there's that course. Spreadsheet programming is an interesting one. The idea that, and some people might tend to scoff at this idea of spreadsheet programming, but at its core, businesses engage with spreadsheets, right? And being adept at the use and the practical use and the efficient use and the effective use of a spreadsheet beyond the core capabilities of just entering things into a cell is important. Programmatically engaging through Excel is important. Now that gets into things like VBA code, right? And maybe pivot tables and maybe some of those things, that are a little bit more advanced in there to make you that expert.
Analytics, all of it.
Yeah.
We studied all of it.
Yeah. And so spreadsheet programming. Then there's obviously statistics. So so I'll laugh because math is. I'll be honest with you guys. Math is not really my strong suit. And statistics is definitely a statistics course.
It's really important.
It's incredibly important. It's a foundational skill. Without the core of stats, and it's a scary one for a lot of people. And trust me, when I was a student, it was not my not the course that I looked forward to either. Back when I took stats, but it's so fundamentally and foundationally important to understand those concepts. And then we apply them through the lens of predictive analytics. We apply them through the lens of our data visualization courses. We understand what drives a linear regression model and these sort of things. And it's just so important and foundational that it's a core.
Perfect.
And so those are the first three cores, right? So if you're coming next year, you took these in fall,
right?
I did. If you're coming next year, you'll take some of them in summer and some of them in fall. And then in the spring semester, we only have two cores in the spring semester, right? Two main cores.
Correct.
Data visualization, obviously, right? It's all about storytelling. You could be the best statistical mind and predictive analytics mind, but if you cannot communicate your results to the business, no use. And Practicum. Right. Practicum is really where is my. I shouldn't pick up the favorite part of the program. It's all my favorite.
Before you start explaining, I think this is where a lot of doubts come in, because Practicum is the least least knowledge we have on, like even as a student. So we need to know all about it because he's the one guiding the MS Practicum.
Yeah, and there's a reason why it's ambiguous, right? The reason why it's ambiguous is based on the same philosophy that I have for data warehousing, which is, what do you want to explore, right? What you want to explore, let's explore it. You want to go in, so for example, I'll give you some ideas, right? Last year, I worked with one of our students in the MSBA. I asked him, what do you like, right? He said, well, I want a job in, no, not what do you want a job in, what excites you, right? What do you want to explore analytically? He said, wine. I said, wine, like the drink. The drink. Yes. My family owns, I think it was a vineyard, right, or wine stores. I want to know, can I collect enough data on wine quality and rankings and reviews and things like that, that I can build a predictive model based on production method, grapes, this, that, the other thing, to identify the feature importance in what makes a good quality wine. And I said, go for it. And he said, well, how is that related to a job role? And I said, it's related to a job role because what companies look for, and at least, again, I'm speaking from my own experience having hired back when I was in the consulting world, what I looked for wasn't, do you know exactly everything to do with this particular business right here and now? It's, do you know the foundations? Can you apply them? And are you passionate at all about this?
That's what it takes.
And it's the passion. And that's what the practicum really is we craft together, right, a project that's led by you, that's led by the student, right? You go in and say, I want to explore, another one wanted to do NFL sports data. And so we're using the NFL Big Data Bowl data sets. Another student is doing an experiential project with with the same company from the healthcare analytics course. And so there are so many different pathways we can take based on your interest. We craft the project. The only stipulations that I have is that it has to have a formal deliverable. Obviously, it is school, right? So we have to have a deliverable at the end, whether that's a paper, presentation, or something like that, right? And it has to cover the core analytics foundations that you've learned as part of the program. Whether it's predictive, prescriptive, it's spreadsheet, it's database, it's whatever it is, you have to be using those skill sets, right? And then at the end, you produce this work product that's a portfolio project effectively, right? And next semester, at least what we're planning on starting up is we did this last year too, is the Practicum Showcase, wherein at the end of the spring semester, right before graduation, we sit down as a group, as a program, and you're not mandatory to do this, but if you want to, right, we'll bring in maybe some companies to some other peers in the School of Management, things like that, and you show off what you did. Right? You go and say, I'm going to present this. I'm going to show my methodology. I'm going to show how I can predict the wine quality scores. I'm going to show how I can predict, whether or not, the Buffalo Bills are going to win, right? And how it is that works and why it is that that's important. And the idea is really as simple as that, right? And we work together to craft that project.
Oh yeah, that sounds exciting because I've taken it and I'm looking forward to it because this part was something that I was not aware of, that I also have a showcase ability. Like I have a stage to show what I've done maybe. So I'll keep that in mind and work harder at it and maybe show something impressive.
No, and it's a really great idea. And particularly, some students, depending on when they enter the job market, when they start looking for jobs, everybody has their own pace that they do that. And some people, last year, when we were getting to the showcase time, they were just using their portfolio projects from Practicum and sending them to employers, putting them on their public GitHub pages, putting them in a personal website, and using those to really help spur that kind of job interest.
I think that kind of completes your course. Like you've learned a lot of skills and then you use them into a project and then you showcase it to your employers, potential employers, and then they look at what you've done and then they have a grasp of what you're capable of, what your potential is. If he can do this, he or she can do this, maybe he's the right fit for our place.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what's in your mind, right? With the
Absolutely,
practicum.
100%. You've got it.
Yeah. So let's talk about the duration of the program.
Sure.
This is very confusing. Some people talk about it being 9 months. Some people say it's a year. Some people, we have it on the page. It's 11 months. So what is the duration of the program?
Yeah. So the reason why there's confusion around this is just because when we talk about things within the university, and then we talk about things as though like as humans refer to time, right? We talk about it as one academic year, right?
Correct.
Now, in terms of months, that's a different story.
Okay.
For you, right, for the current batch that starts in, end of August and goes until and graduates at the end of May, right? So a June 1 grad date, but end of May is really the when you walk across the stage at graduation and try not to trip. The next batch, right? So as we shift to this 3-semester model, it's going to start in, it's going to be a July start, right?
July.
And then it's going to still end at the same time though. So you'll still be graduating in May and walking across in May.
So the difference between us and them is they're going to have more time to cover those courses.
More time to cover those courses. Again, most folks, like, I don't know when you landed here in Buffalo, maybe mid-August,
August 5th.
August 5th.
Yeah.
So really, I think the program's starting in I think the second week of July, and so
Correct.
really 3 weeks sooner is when people will be landing. I think to get here for that, and so hopefully our hope is that that extra couple of weeks in terms of the classes buys us the ability to keep you guys on a more even pathway that's lower stress and gets you to have those experiences, exposures, helps you to free up time to focus on the practicum work, to free up the job search and things.
I think this is one of the most important things that is happening to the MSBA program, personally speaking, because I have a lot of students like with me in the classrooms, and sometimes 5 courses is a lot for some people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
To take in, and this is really, really good, and I think you're going to make the best use of it when you come here in Buffalo. So now that we're clear about the duration, let's talk about the expected outcomes of the students. Like there's a lot of students coming in, there are a lot of students already in the program. When you make the program and you think about the program, the curriculum and everything that we've talked about so far, where do you see your students after the program? Our students are, I am consistently impressed with, the career journeys that our students are able to craft. I mean, we have folks that are, that despite, the weather, I suppose, fall in love with Buffalo, right? Yeah,
and we've got a vibrant, startup, small and mid-sized company environment here that I think 3 MSBA students in the past couple of months have joined with, right? And we've got, but then we've got the big players, right? We've got people that are going and becoming, the consultants, senior consultants, managers at a big 4 consulting firm, right? And being alumni of Deloitte, I love to see that, right? I love to help kind of students prep for those interviews because I prepped for those interviews when I was a student here. We have folks that are targeting, the Metas and the Microsofts and the Googles, right? And the sky's the limit within the School of Management. And I won't speak out of turn. I'll direct you to our Career Resource Center's website, the CRC, because they are outstanding at their job role in terms of helping you on your career journey. But 2 is for those of you who aren't quite ready to engage yet, maybe go there and check out the statistics, right? It shows like what average salaries are for students, what job roles they're getting, what companies they're being placed at. I mean, we run the gambit in terms of where our alumni go.
Perfect. So I think that's pretty much what I had in mind when you think about the job roles and expectations of students who come here and take this course. And it kind of ranges from being a data analyst, business analyst, data scientist.
In terms of job roles, we've got data, again, like you said, data analyst, business analyst. We had one student, or a couple of students, I think, that were getting product manager roles. We had one student who jumped straight into from no prior consulting experience into a senior consulting role, in a data analytics role at a big 4 firm. We've got folks that are going and becoming data engineers, with larger companies. We've got just everywhere, right? And the alumni network keeps growing. And in fact, I'm this afternoon, after we record this, I'll be meeting with one of our alumni who's at a Big Four just to kind of chat, catch up, and stay in contact.
Yeah, it's nice that you're getting comfortable, but I see that you're going out of the frame.
Oh, I'm out of the frame.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. That's my bad.
Oh, yeah. So it's nice.
It's like this chair leans back very far.
It does. Yeah, it does. That's what I was thinking. Like,
I'm
how's it
taking
gonna
that.
be like? Possibly. All right. So yeah, that was a great answer, and I think that's a lot of students asking and thinking what I'm going to do with this program, coming here, like what is the output. So I think that puts a lot of minds at ease when they watch this answer. So yeah, let's talk about the prospective students. Like, what about their work experiences that they had before, the learning experiences? How are they going to come together with the learning experience they're going to have in the course and the work experience that they already had? Like, how they're going to combine here? So maybe talk about the prerequisites that people must take or maybe think about before coming here.
Yeah, and we get this question a lot, and I think it's important to understand that because the way that the program is designed is that we're not presupposing that you have any particular knowledge coming in, right? Yeah. So the people who have backgrounds that have joined and been successful in our business analytics program come from, engineering backgrounds, comp sci backgrounds. They were software developers. They were, we had one student who had a history background, history, right? And the idea here is that the only prerequisite that I hope you think about before you come here is that you put a little bit of thought into what is it that you want, right? What is it that you're passionate about? What type of job role are you seeking? So that when you get here, right, I can help you and our academic advisors can help you to plot that path, right? So that we can take the right courses to get you on that journey and to make the networking connections, get you into the clubs, whatever it is.
So I'm just going to get into the mind of a student who's actually watching this interview. So what happens is when people are applying for such courses, like especially the international students, they have a lot of time on their hands while they are going through this process. So they have like 4, 5, 6 months, because I personally applied in December and then I had come to the course for August. September, most probably. So I had like 5 to 6 months, and in between that, I was dealing with my visa process and everything, but then I had a lot of free time to maybe work towards a better learning experience. So what could you think that students can work on while they are back in their home countries to make their learning experience better? Some skills, maybe some certifications, anything that you can think of?
Yeah, you know what? I really like to see students make their lives easier by taking if you're not familiar with SQL, take a basic SQL course, right? If you have SQL experience but you're a little rusty, right? Go to W3 schools, right, and retake some of the core foundations, right? Go to what is it? Free Code Camp. Go to watch some YouTube videos. If you're looking at it and you're saying, geez, I might want to take this data warehousing course that you dropped. Go ahead and Google what is data warehousing, right? Reach out, ask for content. We can provide materials. Reach out to alumni, make those connections, say, hey, look I'm interested in this, what's this course, right? So there are these soft skills, right? Or these soft kind of learnings that you can do, but then there's also like, you're not sure if you're interested in Python for data analytics, take a basic Python course. Even if you decide you hate it, right? Python is an excellent skill, right, to have, even if you don't want to pursue it. Having that skill set in your pocket that you can resume anytime you might need it, I think it's an excellent thing to do.
I think programming all this gets you into that mindset of problem solving. Yeah. That's what it does.
Oh,
and even if you're not going to use it, it's just always useful to have it in your pocket.
Absolutely. It'll teach you how to deal with the frustrations of a syntax error.
It will for sure. And SQL, as he said, it's really important. Like we actually use it a lot in the course, and the professor, I think Professor Arman teaches TVMS, and I think he's the one that'll take you through the SQL. He has an excellent course, but then you can work on it. You can maybe know if you really want to take SQL as a career option, maybe
if you want to get more into the database side of things, you want to be an architect, you want to be a designer,
like that. So but it's very important either way. It's even if you don't take those roles.
I would look at SQL. I would look at if you've never dabbled in Python before, man, it'll change your life to learn to learn Python. Just even not even thinking about data analytics for a second, just being familiar with how to pull together a script to automate something.
Also, one of the most underrated skills that we all have, I think, is the Excel. Like, people just tend to overlook it.
Yeah.
Compared to how important it is in the industry, people just think that they know Excel and they just don't think about it. They don't take any courses on it. They don't think about any certification. They don't think of any extra in-depth knowledge because Excel is huge.
Yeah. You are absolutely correct. You know, what a lot of people engage with throughout their entire lives is this iceberg, right?
Yes.
We're only looking at the surface level of Microsoft Excel.
Yes.
And it sounds so silly to say it out loud, but Microsoft Excel is just a behemoth of a tool. And becoming adept at it is a job winner, right?
Yes,
it's a promotion securing skill set in many ways, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I've seen people excel at careers not even knowing any programming at all in data focused careers, just being the Excel guru. Yeah.
Yes. So what we're talking about is like we've seen those memes, right? Where you learn all this Python, machine learning languages and everything, and when you reach your job,
it's just Excel.
It's just Excel. So might as well like do some course, maybe like get good at it.
Yeah.
Get good, mate.
You know what? If you're looking for some keywords, learn your pivot tables, learn the Excel
really
data analysis tool pack. Some of these add-ons, right?
Yes.
Look up these terms, and if you need help with it, just reach out to us. I'd be happy to send you some materials and point you in the direction.
Perfect. So that's a lot of prerequisite to think about. Maybe just sum it up to SQL, Python, and Excel.
Yeah.
These three things are like really good. Like if you have like 3 or 4 months of time, really get good at this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really useful in the course and after the course as well.
Yeah. And if instead you want to just put on sunglasses and chill, that's cool too, right? Like when you get here, we'll arm you with the knowledge you need, but it can make for an easier journey or help you to make those decisions on your electives and your course pathway.
Perfect. Yeah, that's another way to think about it. Like when you look at dabble into something, you can choose to go into it or not. That's where you have the mindset.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the World Cup. Did you watch it? Were you supporting a team? The FIFA World Cup. I'm talking about.
I know. You know, I was watching it. So it's funny. We were kind of talking a couple of the professors.
Yes.
One of our professors is originally from Croatia, and so we were kind of watching their journey through the World Cup and things like that. And it's you'll see. It's funny. You'll walk around the School of Management. And everyone's got it up on their screens. We're sitting. I was sitting. We were teaching one of the data warehousing classes, and you know, it's always a shame when you have to teach in the middle of a game. But that's life, right? And I see a student in the back of the class with their laptop open, and I just see the flashing, and I can see, and I know it, right? Because I'm a soccer player myself. And I stopped the lecture and I said, "What's the score?" And they looked at me very embarrassed. I'm like, "Don't get embarrassed. I don't care. I just want to know the score. Please tell me the score. I don't care that you're watching it in class."
That's good.
As long as the other students aren't bothered by it, I just want to know the score. And so we're all very involved. You know, and even speaking of sports, right? UB has a really, really, really big affinity with the sports and athletics teams. Right? We've got our stadium. What direction is it? Over there, right? Our stadium over there, where the UB Bulls are playing football. We've got the Buffalo Bills right up the road. We've got the We've got the Sabres from a hockey perspective. The Bandits play lacrosse, right? Any sport you can think of, you can go in and participate in here.
Yes. So I've been one of those students watching World Cup. And the worst part was like I had one of those exams. Yeah, in class. Yeah, so it's chill out here. Like professors are really nice. They know they can tell like what you're going through and all. If that's up your mental, that's taking your mental piece. But maybe the game, watch it. Learn about the program. Let's cover it up later. Yeah. So I've been one of those students, and unlikely as it is, I had one of those. I think predictive analytics exam during the knockout match for my team, which is Argentina.
Yeah.
Holland. That was one of the worst things that could have happened.
I could feel the pain from here.
Yeah, and I make up my calendar with all my exams and the matches that I have to like maybe follow up on. Yeah. And those were inside each other, and I was like, oh shit.
Heck of a final match, though.
Yeah.
Heck of a final match. Oh my gosh.
Who's your man of the match?
No, I can't. Because here's the deal. I'll say who my favorite player is, and I'll alienate like half of you on this watching this.
That's why we're trying to get here.
You know, I can't pick favorites. As a faculty member, I have to remain very neutral. Otherwise you'll get mad at me and you won't come here.
I'm gonna talk to him after this interview about that. Okay.